Thank you so much for the video. Here he is in the second round, setting up.
When the installation Messenger sold at Christie's auction in 2011, it became the most expensive piece at auction by a living Arab artist. Its creator, Abdulnaaser غارم, a self-taught artist and former lieutenant colonel in the Saudi Arabian army. This dual existence as soldier and creator underlines the multifaceted nature of Gharem's works, which bring motifs of the Middle East to a wider audience.
Well, the most important thing about these kinds of pieces is the freedom and the expression of the artist. Riyadh is really one of the most conservative cities in the world, and I was, what they call it, I was like swimming against the currents like for years. So I created like an island where the people can come to that island, which is the studio. I think in our environment there, the best solution is in gathering. The talent of the artists, they need to be around each other and try to help, because no one is going to support them if they didn't support each other.
Those of us who live outside the Middle East tend not to think of Saudi Arabia as a country that will produce artists, and yet it has. And I think because their society is unique, has led to something that we find very appealing in their art, because it's different. And I think so much of the appeal of contemporary art for many is that it be different. Abdulnaaser has used a variety of unusual materials, but the one that I think he's used most consistently in recent years is these tiny stamps. And he attaches them to an aluminum surface, and he calls them stamp paintings.
It's like a mosaic, and then I will start to put my messages all over the paintings. And then some of it I print it, and some of it I print and draw on it. So some of it, it's like, I play with it like the mosaic. I start to build the subject, trying visually to juxtapose these things, but your mind is trying to refuse it. So I'm trying to push your mind to accept it by making it as beautiful as I can. To me, it was like, in that moment, it was like the whole world stopped. And that's where I started the idea of the paintings. And then I started the idea of the show. And those guys who did this 9/11, they are not representing us at all. Why it wasn't me? Because we have the same knowledge, we have the same environment, we have the same, we are almost the same. We have almost the same situation. So that's, in that moment, really, that's what I started to do, like to look for my own path, and it takes a lot of effort that time to swim against the current. I'm from the southern region of Saudi Arabia, and most of the army bases are there. When I started in the academy, in the military academy, I stopped even thinking about that. I just want to survive. My last rank was lieutenant colonel, and suddenly in 2000 I said, okay, I need to stop drawing like portrait and landscapes, because there is a point when you want to say something. And especially in like our country, it's very hard to say what you want, but you can pass your idea through an artwork. Imagine the first artwork I did, I wrapped myself with a tree in the middle of the street and I stayed for 6 hours. You know, they went to my dad, they said, your son is crazy. But the people love it. That's the beauty of it. You never know what's gonna happen. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm
nice
good.
to meet you. Come
Nice
on
to
in.
meet you.
For me, I'm extremely curious about the world and about artists from places that are very different from my experience. This is a piece from an older series of these, protest signs that I find and then make stencils of and then reapply them to mirrors. It's always exciting to meet an artist from another place in the world who shares the same ideas, the same set of concerns that they want to bring into their work as an artist.
It's killing me to summarize all of what I want to say in an image or in a piece.
That's fascinating because here in the US, I don't have to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I don't have to be strategic and creative in terms of how the other can speak for me, and then it's not my speech. Although that's really what I'm interested in, how we see things from our side and then how the other side sees it from their side. And which I think is one of the things that's so great for us seeing your show.
I started this show, I call it Pause, which is in the, the Twin Tower or the 9/11. To me, it was like a pause. We were looking to all of that. It's like the whole world just stopped.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen now? And then what I was trying to do or to tell through this show is you need to see the story from another perspective.
This is very important at this particular moment in American history and in world history, creating some form of understanding that may not exist at this particular moment, where someone can relate to the art and say, that's amazing, I didn't know there was somebody in Saudi Arabia who could make something like this, because what we want to aim for is a kind of universalism. It's just about us and we're all the same.
I came from like the south of Saudi Arabia to LA. I never expected it's gonna happen. I hope what I'm doing is gonna affect the society and gonna inspire at least some young generation, or at least to change someone's opinion. So what we are doing is like sparking a dialogue. And who never knows where it will go.